What's up, guys? I'm Kyle Mylan. It's the first Tuesday of the month, so you know what that means. Every month we come live talking about the latest in marketing, B2B marketing, B2C, and we're here to just share all of our knowledge, the secrets we do here at Mylan Media, the #1 marketing agency out there.
I brought with me the fire extinguisher.
Cold email marketing is actually increasing.
The big AI updates that HubSpot released.
Shifting some of your budget into that AI overview summary. If they don't trust you, it does not matter how good your process is. I've got a YouTube channel with over 2,000 videos on it. We post content every single day, and the purpose here is to bring you guys stuff that we do at a marketing agency level for a lot of clients at scale, and bring you guys that knowledge so that you can adapt it into your processes, learn from us. This is what we do here at Mylan Media. We help companies increase their revenue with all sorts of marketing, whether it's web, SEO, automation, paid media, everything under the sun. We're here to deliver content for you that you can apply today. What's up, guys? I'm Kyle Mylan. It's not the first Tuesday of the month like that intro showed. It's just a random Wednesday, and I'm back to creating content solo because there is a need for it. So for those of you that have been following me for a long time, the last few years, I used to go live once a week. Then we went every other week, and now we're doing it once a month. But there's so much out there right now, and so many people are struggling that I felt compelled to bring some fire to this last Wednesday of the month to close out the month with some talk about industrial sales. So before we get into it, if you're watching this on replay, before you head over, be sure to head over to YouTube, subscribe, turn on notifications. We produce hundreds of videos all the time. I'm going to say every month, but I don't want to say that. But we produce an insane amount of content, and all these tips are around sales and marketing with a primary focus on industrial. So let's get into it. Your industrial sales suck. Now what? So what are you going to do? Whether you are in sales, in marketing, owner of a company, manager of a sales department, so many times people are dealing with these issues. Their sales tend to swindle down, fall off. You're not seeing Q1 of 26 isn't as good as Q1 of 25 or 24. And it's like you've tried different things, and where do you go from here? Or if you're just realizing this, you're like, hey, you want somebody else's input. So for the last 25 years, I've worked in industrial sales and marketing. This is pretty much all that I know. And I have learned a lot working with customers and also working at companies on how to pivot, adjust, and make drastic impact. I've got numerous videos on YouTube talking about how to flip your sales pipeline in industrial in 90 days and your marketing pipeline in 90 days. Let's get into this topic right now. So if your sales suck, the first thing you have to look at is this a sales problem or is this a marketing problem? And I don't want to throw marketing under the bus, but both sides of it have kind of their input in it. So if I look at your, let's say, Q1 of 26 number of leads, let's start there. Are your leads more than last year? Are they less than last year Q1? Is the quality of the leads better or worse? Is the number of the deals that you have better or worse? You got to start with the data side to put some fuel behind it. I can't stand talking to people, and even here in the office, a common thing I say is like, what does the data show? So if somebody says like, hey, our revenue sucks and it's because of X, Y, and Z, if you don't have data to support that, then in my opinion, you can't possibly have an argument. So first, looking at what is the actual culprit of your sales problem based on the data. If your leads are down, is that bad? Yeah, less leads in Q1 of 26 versus 25 is not a good situation. However, I want to look at the conversion of leads to deals or opportunities. So what if you have less leads, but more of your leads convert to a deal? That'd be a good situation. That'd be the first place that I would look at any company. Is your revenue is down. I need to go back up to the top of the funnel to see what is the issue. So I'm gonna first look at leads. So top of funnel, how many leads are you getting? And is it less than whatever your goal is or previous, or is it less conversions to deals? Because that can sometimes be a major issue, is that I'm getting the same or more amount of leads, but less of them are converting, or are they just converting not as fast? Maybe you're not getting people bottom of funnel, but you're getting people that are like middle of funnel or close to the top of funnel where they're doing research. They know that they have a problem. They're looking for a solution, but they're not ready to pull the trigger now. So now you get into the industrial manufacturing sales world of like 3, 6, 9, 12, 18-month conversion process, because that's just the life cycle, the sales cycle of this market. And that's just how it is. But you want to have things going on to where you're covering both sides of it. And that's really from a marketing standpoint, is that marketing should be looking at people that are bottom of funnel. So looking to solve the problem today. So with paid media, organic search, etc., you want to show up at the top, and AEO, or answer engine optimization, showing up at the top of GPT, Gemini, Claude, etc. So marketing should be already handling that. So if we go back to the sales side, look at what is your conversion percentage, and are you converting 50% of leads to deals? Is it less than what it was before? Is that the issue? Or let's go deeper into the funnel. Let's look at how many of those deals that you're quoting, RFQs that come in, how many of them are you quoting and actually winning? And if you're not winning them, why aren't you winning them? So close loss reason is super important. That's what I'm going to look at. I'm going to say, okay, you created, let's say for argument's sake, 100 deals last quarter. How many of those deals converted and won? Let's say it's 5. 5 of them are won. And so it's a 5% conversion or success rate, close rate on your open deals. But that doesn't mean that it's 5% and that's what you have to move forward, because I'm going to look at those other 95 deals. How many of them have already moved to close loss? What if like half of them have moved to close loss? Then is it like the other ones that are out there, are they still out there because they're stalled and they're ghosted, or are they out there because the time frame of that specific deal, you weren't expecting it to close within 2 months of getting the opportunity? You're expecting it to close in Q2 or 3 of 26, or maybe not until Q1 of 27. So having that information is super important, because you want to pull those people out. So if I look at the 95 deals that are left over and you're like, hey, 40 of these aren't going to close until Q4. Okay, pull 40 out of that 100. So now you've got 5 out of 60. So a better percentage. But you got to look at that and be like, is this a salesperson issue? So like if we break that down, so you've got sales versus marketing at the top, 2 different columns. Both of them have their issues. And then you've got, is it a salesperson issue, or is it a quality of the lead and deals issue? Because if your salespeople can't close, it doesn't matter how many leads you bring in. It doesn't matter how many opportunities or at bats you get. If your salespeople suck, then they suck. And if your salespeople suck, then get rid of them and replace them either with marketing, which maybe could do it better, or a different salesperson. And that's the hard truth that comes down to a lot of companies, that they don't want to take that step. They're like, oh, well, I'm blaming everybody else except for this person that is the hindrance. And again, don't just fire people for no reason. Have some data to support it. So if this person's been with you for 1, 2, 3, 5 years, and you look at all of their deals and what's their close percentage and how long does it take for them to respond to people and all that, then maybe you can see a trend that you were avoiding before, because you were like an ostrich burying its head in the sand. And so, is it a person issue? And so let's assume for a second that like you've already gotten rid of the people that aren't a good fit, because you turned over a new year in 26. And you're like, hey, I listened to Kyle's video back in 25 in Q4, and he said, get rid of people, don't move them over into the new year that are low performers, because you want to start fresh. Let's assume that you listened to that video that I did and you remove those people. So it's not necessarily a person issue. Then let's deal with the quality of it. So you've got quality of the deals that are coming through. Are you quoting them too fast? Like, are you creating deals when there's not really a deal there? That's an issue I've seen numerous times with companies, where somebody comes in and says, hey, I have a problem and you have a solution for me. And the salesperson's like, cool, I've got numbers and metrics to hit, and I need to close or quote 15 deals a month. And this is going to be part of my 15, and I'm going to quote them. But then what they don't realize is that you're focusing on the metric of how many sales deals you need to quote per month and get into your pipeline, and you're not focusing on the more important metric, which is close one business. And a lot of times it doesn't happen until after a few quarters or a few months, maybe a quarter or two, that the manager or the owner is like, hey, dude, you don't have a lot of closed deals. It's like, oh, but my pipeline's big and I got a lot of stuff in here. Yeah, but you're just quoting stuff and these guys aren't ready to buy. So you have to look at it and say, am I quoting things too quickly? It's not necessarily a bad salesperson's trait. They're just trying to pump out activity, and they're trying to get deals in the pipeline, because you can't possibly close a deal if it's not a deal, right? If somebody has a need for your service or your equipment and you're not giving them pricing and giving them something to sign and close, then you can't possibly move them into the closing stage of the process. So I get the balance and I get the internal struggle, but you have to keep in mind that you're going to be graded based off of your close percentage. And if your close percentage sucks, then you're either quoting people too quick or you just suck at closing, which is fine. There are people that aren't good closers, that they're good setters, or people that do activity. And there's people that can't do a lot of activity, but they're good in front of the customer and to move the deal down the process in the pipeline and be able to close those deals, good negotiations, etc. So there's a need for both sides of it. But if we look at that and say, hey, the close percentage isn't bad, we don't have deals. Then I go back to the activity. So we've already looked at it and you've got all this data and you're like, hey, I've got less leads or deals than before. I've got less conversions to close one than before. Like my sales just suck. Now you got to look at the activity. Now you got to look at what's going on to put people into the top of the funnel. So how many salespeople do you have? What level of standard do you have for the amount of activity that they need to be doing a week? And are you holding them accountable to that? And most companies don't have that data. So that's the first place I would start is your salesperson or people. How much activity do you expect them to do on a weekly basis? Is it 100 outreach activities? Is it 200? Is it 1,000? What's the KPIs that you're measuring them against? Are you having weekly meetings to talk about those KPIs? Like you got to have some sort of measurable thing that shows activity and not outcome. So the outcome is, hey, I want you to close 5 deals a month. I want you to close $1 million, whatever the number is. That's the outcome. But what can be more important is also tracking the input to get that outcome. Because people sometimes fall into some situations where it's like, hey, man, I don't have to work that hard. These leads are coming in. These deals are coming in. I'm just right place, right time. And they've got a lot of revenue generated, which is hitting their metrics. But at some point, that luck is going to run out, or at some point, the market's going to soften up and they're not going to be able to rely on the inbound traffic or being in the right place at the right time. They're going to have to rely on their hustle skills. And the hustle skills of an industrial salesperson are usually pretty drastic in the market of general sales. So like you'll have people that will hunt and hustle, and you'll have a more majority of people that are just kicked back waiting for stuff to come to them. And so setting those metrics and KPIs and saying, hey, I need you to have 10 on-site visits or 6 site visits or 12 meetings or 5 discovery calls, or I need you to quote 22 deals a week or a month, whatever the number is. You got to put a metric in place and you have to track it, because if it's not measured, it's not managed, and you have to show it to the person and hold them accountable, because the salesperson is accountable for not necessarily going out and like creating content to bring in deals. That'd be great if they did, right? That's what I did for a decade, is that I was out there hustling, creating content, making a personal brand that then led to business. So when I left that world and started my own company, it followed with me, and it's been fruitful. But that's like the marketing side, right? Marketing's job is to bring in leads and layups for these salespeople to take, and that's freebies. Salesperson's job is to hunt and hustle. So you got to make calls, cold visits, cold emails, LinkedIn connection requests, LinkedIn messages, trade shows, all of those things they need to be doing on a daily basis, and a mix of those things. And I have a video out on my channel talking about the salesperson's schedule of what percentage of time should they be focusing their week on, like a split of 25% into existing opportunities, 10% into one area, 40% into lead prospecting, like all that stuff's down. So check out my YouTube channel and look up the sales schedule, industrial sales schedule, and you'll be able to see what the breakdown is. But you have to focus on that. You have to be able to say, this is what you should be doing on a weekly basis. This is the outcome I want from your weekly activities and the input levels that I expect, and then hold them accountable to it. And eventually it's going to be a lot easier to make adjustments and changes to your team if they are underperforming, because you can say, hey man, the data doesn't lie. Like you're supposed to be doing 200 outreaches a week and you've never hit it, and it's been 3 months and we've talked about it. So I can't keep you on because you're not doing the activity. Regardless of the deals that you're closing, you have to make that decision and try and motivate them and empower them to do the activity. But sometimes it just doesn't work. And so if we break down and say like, okay, I've got a salesperson issue, what should they be focusing their attention on? How can I get them to turn the sales deals around? And we're going to leave marketing completely out of it. Marketing is working. It's bringing in some freebies. It's bringing in leads. And I'm going to convert those leads. I'm going to go back to things I've said for almost a decade is lowest hanging fruit are going to be people that you know or people that know you. But you got to be hitting all the different activity areas. Like where do you spend most of your day? Audit your activity and just track it. Do a timesheet or time and energy sheet and say like, where do I spend most of my day? If marketing's doing their job, am I doing my job as a salesperson and saying like, I'm going to reach out to all these people and I'm going to look at old contacts and old customers and old leads. And I'm going to reach out to them personally. I'm going to call them. I'm going to find them on LinkedIn and send them a connection request. Those are the activities that you have to be doing every single day. And it's not just something that you can just do once. You have to be doing it consistently. Otherwise, eventually your pipeline is going to dry up. I mean, so different in my situation with me managing sales here. Like if I'm focusing most of my attention on customers, which is what I've been doing for the past like 6 to 9 months, and making sure the process and the systems, everything's good, working with a team. And my pipeline is just people that are looking for me are coming in, and I work those leads and close those deals as they come in. But if I'm trying to aggressively go out in growth, well, I have to put time and attention to it because it's not just going to come to me. So marketing can only do so much. And that's where the salesperson, if you're looking to grow aggressively, or if you're looking to make a massive change in the current pipeline, you have to grab the bull by the horns and put on your big boy pants and say, I'm going to take action right now today. I've made a decision. I'm going to start producing like high levels of activity today. I'm going to go out there and I'm going to bring in the business because it's necessary. So like your pipeline will dry up if you don't keep nurturing that thing. It's no different than growing grass. Like you have to water grass and nurture it and fertilize and all that stuff. Otherwise, eventually it's going to die, and you may have some grass. Those are the marketing leads that come in, and people are looking bottom of funnel, and marketing's working and bring those people in. But if you want a full, nice, plush lawn, then you have to be doing things every single week to nurture that. And so if your industrial sales suck right now, I would urge you to say, let me break down the different areas of the data, because the data is going to tell the story. And is it a lead issue? Is it number of people coming in? Is it conversion of leads to deals? So the quality of those leads, has it dropped off? Has it reduced to where you're not getting as many deals? And it's like, no, Kyle, my deal numbers quarter one of 26 are better than my deal numbers of quarter of 25. Okay. So your salespeople are converting the leads to deals. They're saying, this is a sales qualified lead. I'm moving it to a deal. So my deal number should be increased. Yeah, my deal numbers increase. Q1 this year versus Q1 last year, I got more deals. Okay, what's the quality of those deals? They're good quality. Well, are you tracking that? Are you grading it? Are you scaling it? And even from there, if you're like, but my numbers are still down, that's where that comes into the pipeline of the sales process and industrial. It could be 12 to 18 months. So are you just not being patient with it? But even if that's not happening, you're not closing deals. It's probably because you're missing things in the process. Probably because you're quoting people too fast. And that's all going to come down to sales is a numbers game. Whatever you put into the top, you've got the denominator at the bottom, right? Which is total amount of activity, and you've got your close at the top of it. So if you're putting less people into the top of the funnel for you to work through, then you're going to get less deals, and then you're going to close less business, and you're going to make less commission, because most people are making commission in industrial sales. And so with all that being said, you have to really sit back and look and say, how do I want this to lay out? What is my big issue? Where do I want to focus my attention? What things am I not doing in Kyle's list of LinkedIn outreach with connection requests, going to trade shows? Like, oh, we can't go to trade shows, we can't exhibit them. Dude, you should be walking trade shows. If they're local, super easy. If you have to fly someplace, like this is a big trade show year. This is for some of the trade shows. These are the years where it's like the off year, let's say the on year of when it is the big event in the bigger city or the better location. And in other trade shows, it's the off year where it's at the smaller venue in the further away location. But there's a lot of trade shows every single year, whether it's going from Pack Expo to IMTS and FabTech and ModX and the Battery Show and all these different industrial shows that are out there, and all the smaller ones, regional ones. There's lots of trade shows. Are you spending time and walking those trade shows? Are the exhibitors of those trade shows your target demographic? If you're like, hey man, I can't do that. I can't fly to Detroit or Chicago or Vegas or whatever and do those shows because my company won't spend the money. Well, that's ridiculous. But let's just say that they won't. You can go and shop all those exhibitors from the exhibitor list and find the contact information, the person you want to talk to. And maybe these are companies you never reach out to. Are you sending them connection requests on LinkedIn, following their company page, engaging with the content? Are you creating your own content on LinkedIn? Like, this is the whole process in sales that you have to be doing every single day, every single week after week, without getting much response or engagement that quick. You'll get a couple quick wins, but you need to keep putting in the work. Otherwise, you're never going to get to that goal and be able to turn around the pipeline and stop watching these videos that I'm creating where it's like your industrial sales suck. You're going to see that topic, whether it's a live or a video on YouTube, and you're like, nope, I don't want to watch that because my industrial sales don't suck. So whether you're looking at this from an ownership standpoint, you need to make massive change. If you don't have the right people in management or below it, you need to make change to that. You need to empower people and hold them accountable to those numbers. You need to have them dig out all the details, leads, deals, close percentage, close loss reasons. What are some metrics I can look at? What dots can I connect in this process to be able to say, hey, these are the things that I think are going on. And then you need to make sure that the activity level of the salespeople and what types of activity are in alignment with what I just said. And so if you've missed it, watch it on replay. You got to be taking those levels of action activity. And you have to understand, like, just doing calls and emails isn't ever going to be enough. Just doing one form of outreach will never get you to your goals. And as long as you're tracking and measuring that data, you'll be able to say these things work better than others. So, like, is it worth it? Is it worth it for me to sit in my office and make 1,000 cold calls this week? Am I going to get some action from it? Absolutely, I am. I'm going to get some leads and some deals that come through that. But the amount of time it takes me to do that, is it worth it? So is the juice worth the squeeze on that? It's not, because we've done it for years and we continue to test it. And we've done thousands of phone calls every single month to understand simple percentages of, is this worth it? Is it worth me doing 40 hours of work to get one deal when those 40 hours of work could be focused in other areas to get more deals, leads, opportunities? And so you have to be tracking that. It's going to seem crazy if you're not doing it now. You're going to be like, dude, I'm putting all this information in. But without that information, you couldn't possibly make an educated decision. I don't want to say guess, because it's not going to be a guess. You don't want to make an informed, educated decision based off of data that's not clean and based off of data that's not telling you the whole story. So it could be like, oh yeah, all these deals we're closing, losing them. But why? That's the first thing I would ask, is like, you're closing lost all these deals. You're not getting these deals. Why aren't you getting these deals? What's the category? Is it pricing? Is it timing? Is it experience? Is it the solution that you offer? Is it you don't have enough testimonials? Like, what's the reason why these deals aren't closing? And look at those reasons, figure out which ones are you comfortable with. Like, I'm okay if we're not the cheapest. So I'm okay if somebody says our price is too high. Okay, cool. I respect that. But what if the timeline is too, like, the time frame for you to solve the problem for them, either with a piece of equipment or with a service, the timeline is too long? Well, that's something you should attack right away. Like, it shouldn't take this many weeks or days or hours or months to do this. It should be faster. And that's a common rejection reason that you have, that you need to be taking actions in place while you're continuing to build the funnel and while you're continuing to put more people in there. You should be taking actions to fix that, so that way it does solve the issue in the long run and you have less of those people. But you have to track and measure it. So tons of industrial companies, it's not like deals are coming out of the sky all the time for all companies. Like, it's up and down. Some industries are flourishing right now, other ones aren't. But regardless, you have to look at it and say, like, I'm not going to become complacent. I'm going to continue to take the levels of action I need to take, because salespeople are the one department out of any single company that can make a significant impact to the financial strength of a company. It's the only department that can make a massive impact within a short amount of time. Now, the finance department can make a massive impact to profitability by saying, hey, HR, cut these people. Our profitability is low. But the sales department come in. I mean, you're 2 conversations away from closing a 7-figure deal that then drastically changes the trajectory of the company, or things that the CFO was going to do or not do. So, like, sales solves all problems. There's not a single company in the world that has ever failed because they had too many sales, right? So, like, sales solves everything. And so because of that, you have to focus a lot of your attention on the department and not just cultivate this department of people that are waiting for stuff to come to them. You have to cultivate a department of hunters, aggressive, like, how many, like, make it a game. People that want to make it a game. How many calls can I do in 30 minutes? How many quotes can I do in 2 hours? How many messages can I send to people on LinkedIn? How many comments can I make on strategic people on LinkedIn, people that I'm trying to do business with, that I'm connected with? How many comments can I make in 2 days, right? People that want to make it a game and aggression around it, those are the people that you want on your team, that are going to continue to feed people into the top of the funnel while the process works out itself. And at the bottom of it, you get more clients. So hopefully you guys got value out of that content. We don't have a commercial break, do we? Do we, guys? Yeah, we'll take a short break to go through any comments of people that are here live, and we'll come back and I'll answer any of those questions if we have any. We'll be right back. All right, guys, we're back. Hopefully you enjoyed that video as a break. If you guys were watching this on replay and you like the content, leave a comment, like the post, send me a personal DM if you want me to talk about something else or if you just want to shoot the shit. But we do have one comment, throw it up on the screen. Donald Stites, hopefully that's how you say it, the third said, I'm an inside sales rep for an aftermarket industrial filter manufacturer. How should I be going about my sales? I'm looking for a mentor. Well, lucky for you, Donald, I can be that mentor. And we're also connected on LinkedIn. I've got over 2,000 videos on YouTube to mentor you as a starting point. But how should I go about my sales? So aftermarket industrial filters. So you know that you're selling something aftermarket. They already have an OEM product, whatever they purchase. How should you go about doing it? No different than anybody's doing industrial sales. So you have to go and say, I want to be known in the space. So this is like the core of industrial sales and really any sales. You want to be the guy or the girl that everybody thinks about when they think about that problem. It's like, oh man, I need some filters. I want to think of Donald. Well, how do you go about doing that? Creating content, sending out connection requests on LinkedIn, going to places, shaking hands, kissing babies, going to events, being friends with everybody. You have to be out there. That's the key. And that's what most people miss is like, I only want to make a couple phone calls, send a bunch of emails. But if you really want to be aggressive with this, you got to be everywhere. And so you have to do that level of activity out there to be able to eventually, maybe after 3, 5, 7, 10 years, depending on how fast you can get going, people will think, yeah, hey, I need filters. I got to reach out to Donald who works at ABC company. And then what's cool about it with that branding is that if you leave your current employer eventually because something happens or you want to change states or countries and you want to go after somebody else, like the following goes with you wherever you go to where you continue to create content, then maybe you can use the network that you've built and possibly sell them or offer up solutions to their problems that they have in a different capacity. But heavy on content, be aggressive on LinkedIn, go to the trade shows, connect with people, network, send out as many emails as you can, figure out who's in the space, put them in some sort of CRM system like HubSpot to where you're cycling through the contacts. You're like, okay, these people I've touched 2 weeks ago, 2 months ago, who do I have to reach out to today? Phone calls, personal visits, send stuff in the snail mail, but you have to be aggressive. But the first step is going to be identifying like, who are you going after? So hopefully your company has some sort of ideal customer profile and you've got a list in some sort of CRM and you can be like, hey, who do you guys have? So I can figure out who else to go after. And hopefully you have some tools that can help you get that contact information like Zoom info. But if you don't, you want to go old school, there's tons of AI stuff out there to where you can figure out what people's contact information is. But you got to start with identifying the total available market or the TAM, what's in your region or territory, who currently knows you, lowest hanging fruit, go after those customers first, try and upsell, cross-sell them. If they haven't bought from you in 2 years, reach out to them, introduce yourself, have conversations, look at all deals that were closed lost, so the unsold, people at your company previous to you, or maybe even you yourself, 1, 2, 3, 4 years ago, tried closing somebody, but it didn't work. So you want to go after those people and be like, hey, Donald, I know that this didn't work out a couple years ago, but I just want to see what you've been up to and see if you have any projects or any needs for us to have a conversation, or if you're open to a quick conversation next week to talk about things that you guys have going on. It's like simple conversations like that get the ball rolling. You're not trying to close somebody on the first email or the first outreach. You're just trying to get them to have a conversation, respond to you. So looking at all of those different areas as well as brand new people, so new people that you're going after, that's the way you do it, but you just have to do it every single day. So like I said, I've got a video on my YouTube channel talking about the industrial sales schedule, how to crush it. It should be something recent within the last couple of weeks that we published. That will give the breakdown of like how much time and focus and energy should you be doing on a weekly basis and where you should be putting that time and energy. That's going to give you the best opportunity for efficiency gains and be able to get results that you're looking for. So any other comments from YouTube? All right, guys, that's it with the comments. It's been about 30 minutes, so I'm going to go on about my day, and I'm going to go try and sell some stuff. So if you got value out of this content, share it with people that you know. Get the word out. Put them in the comment section and tag them. Subscribe to YouTube. Turn on notifications. Be on the lookout for all our future content, and I'll see you on the next one.